Welcome back to my channel, Ragamuffins. My name is Raggyrog, and today I am bringing you a tier list in which I take all of the possible dress spheres from Final Fantasy X-2, and I determine, based on my opinions, based on whether or not I think that they suit the three main characters aesthetically. So, that being Yuna, Rikku, and Payne, you can see that I already have them up here in their default costumes. That being Yuna Gunner, Rikku Thief, and Payne Warrior. So, obviously I've got them in the wrong spot here, but moving right into it, we're just going to get into it. If you haven't played Final Fantasy X-2, for a bit of context, the idea is that the game's battle system revolves around using garment grids and dress spheres to change your character's class in the middle of combat. And there's like a whole bunch of them. It was a lot of fun, and maybe I'll replay it sometime. But the thing is, when you change their class, it changes their whole look. So, some of them suit the character better and others don't. The categories that we have here are suits perfectly, and that's why I have these three up here, because it is their default costume. This is how they look in all of the cutscenes, so it makes sense that this suits them perfectly. But then it has looks good but doesn't suit them, suits them but it doesn't look good, and then there's the ones that just don't suit them at all. So, getting straight into it, it's going to be kind of rapid fire today, but let's just get straight into it. So we've got the Alchemist dress sphere here, and aesthetically, I'm going to say that Rikku suits this, which makes sense because in the game, she says this kind of has an Albed feel to it, and she's right. It totally looks like something an Albed would wear. It suits her to a T. For the case of Yuna and Payne, I would say it looks good, but it doesn't really suit them at all. Then we have the Berserker costumes, and for Payne, I'm going to say it looks good but doesn't suit her. And then I'm going to say that for the other two, it doesn't suit them at all. Black Mage. Okay. This is a hard one. I'm going to say that for Yuna, it totally suits her. Something about her in a Black Mage costume, it just looks right. For the other two, okay, for Rikku, it looks good, doesn't suit. And then for Payne, it does suit her, right? Because she's kind of that broody character. Black Mage suits her, but it doesn't look good to me. Then, okay, Dark Knight. Dark Knight, easy choice for Payne. This suits Payne. And again, Payne is like kind of the broody, silent type character. She talks a lot, but that's like kind of her character. That's her role that she fills. And it suits her. Then we've got Yuna, and Yuna, this looks bad on her all around. And same story for Rikku, honestly. Like, these two in, like, black armor, no thank you. This one is the Festivalist, and this is actually not from a version of the game that I've ever played, but there it is. And I'm going to say, it's hard to tell with these sprites, but I'm pretty sure this one is Payne. And it looks good, doesn't suit her. Rikku actually suits this look really, really well. And then Yuna also suits this look. It's very similar to what she wears anyway. The yukata suits her quite perfectly, actually. We have Mage Gunner, which is just a roundabout way of saying Blue Mage, so someone that can use like enemy skills. And weirdly, none of them suit this. This actually looks bad on all of them. It doesn't suit any of them. I actually tell a lie. It looks okay on Yuna, but it doesn't suit her, not at all, which is weird because she is a gunner by default, but this look it's kind of stupid. It's weird and dumb, but it looks alright on her. Payne actually suits being a traditional gunner quite well, and I'm actually going to say that about all three of them, so if you can't see these behind my head, I'm very, very sorry, but everyone actually suits being a gunner in this game. As for, I believe this one's called Gambler, no, it's Lady Luck. Or Gambler. I've heard people call it the Gambler form. And this looks good on Payne. Doesn't really suit. And then for the other two, I would say doesn't suit them at all. I'm sorry. Okay. The Mascot dress sphere. The Mascot dress sphere is a weird one because it's like, to say it suits them, you're talking about like the correlation to the character that they are meant to be. In the case of Yuna, I'm actually going to say that the Moogle suits her really well because she actually wears it in the game elsewhere. It's part of a cutscene and a minigame and everything, so it's, that one makes sense. For the other two, they obviously take quite a few liberties. And for Payne, I'm going to say this suits her because it's a Tonberry, and it kind of matches her aesthetic, being like the dark, broody character. There's a lot of mystery around the Tonberry. But for Rikku, The only correlation I can draw to Kate Sith as her mascot costume is that he's kind of like a thief, and like he has a similar playstyle in Final Fantasy VII to Rikku, I guess you could say. But I feel like there were other choices they could have done. It just, to me, this just doesn't work. I do not appreciate it. Then this is the Psychic Dress Sphere, and this actually looks really cool. I would say this looks good. In fact, it looks good and suits Payne really well. So I'm going to put Payne up in suits perfectly. As for Rikku, this is like a schoolgirl outfit. So it suits, because I think Rikku would wear something like this, but it doesn't look good. And then for Yuna, I'm going to say it looks good, but it doesn't suit her, because that's just how it goes, right? Then we have the Samurai Dress Sphere, and I think for Payne it suits them, but it's not like an aesthetic that I go for, not at all. As for Rikku, it just doesn't suit, and for Yuna, I would say it looks alright, but it doesn't suit her. I don't think any of them really look great in the Samurai Dress Sphere, sorry about it. As for Songstress, we're going to put Yuna up in 2 suits perfectly, obviously, because similar to her gunner outfit, this is kind of like one of her default costumes. She wears this, it's part of the game. The Songstress outfit for Yuna is actually part of the plot. The only other character we see wear this in a cutscene is actually Rikku, but unlike Yuna, it doesn't really suit Rikku as well. So I'm going to say it just doesn't, I don't think it even looks good on Rikku. Sorry, girl. Payne, on the other hand, this looks really good for Payne. I like Payne in this outfit. It doesn't suit her. She does not strike me as like a bard-like character, but it looks really cool. Then we have Thief, and I think the others just look bad overall. It doesn't suit Payne by any stretch. Same story for Yuna. And I feel like this would have worked if they'd given them something else to have, in their costume. Because, with Rikku, she's got, the hair, and she's got the headband, and she's got, those long tassel things coming off her shoulders. There's a lot going on more than just, the dagger blades and, a skimpy outfit, It really works well for Rikku, but for the others, it just... Ew. That's all I can think of, is ew. Then we have Beast Tamer, and this one is pretty interesting. I don't think it suits any of them, really. Okay. I think that for Payne, this could be construed as suiting them, but it doesn't look good. I think that, maybe on her day off, this would be something that Payne wears. I'm not gonna really say much about, the monsters that are attached, because they could be swapped out for anything, honestly. In the case of Rikku, this definitely just looks bad. And for Yuna, I think I'm gonna say it suits her, but it kind of looks bad. It suits her especially, because it is a long flowy thing similar to the yukata that she wears in her festivalist outfit, and similar to her summoner outfit as well. It's kind of reminiscent of that, really. So it at least kind of looks like something Yuna might wear. Then we have the Warrior Dress Sphere, and I'm going to say that Rikku looks absolutely badass as a warrior. Probably better than Payne, even. There's something about her in a warrior costume that just looks right. And I think it has something to do with the fact that it kind of looks like an Al-Bhed uniform. Not a uniform, but it's got the padding and the armor and the strategic places. It looks very much like something Rikku would wear, and I'm here for it. As for Yuna, I would say it looks good, but it doesn't suit her. She's not that kind of character. And, it's well fitted, and there's nothing off about the coloring or anything. It's very appropriate that she's got the Brotherhood sword, but it's not for her. Not at all. Then we have White Mage, and I'm going to say that Payne looks really good as a White Mage, but it does not suit her. Not at all. She looks so good, it almost suits her. But that's not her character. That's not what we think of when we think of Payne. As for Rikku, I'm going to say that it doesn't suit them at all. I don't think Rikku looks good as a White Mage at all. The hood doesn't do anything for her either. Then we have Yuna as a White Mage, and You would think I would say it suits her because she is kind of like a white mage in her original game. But not really. I'm going to say it doesn't suit her at all. It doesn't even look that good to me, and it might be the hood, because that is a recurring thing with both her and Rikku as a white mage, is they both have the hood up, and it doesn't really look good to me. Payne, on the other hand, she's wearing it, like, fashionably, so it looks good, doesn't suit, and for the other two, they have no idea what they're doing, I'm sorry. Lastly, we have, like, the final forms of the three girls, and this is kind of like the replacement for overdrives or limit breaks in this game. Like, they were given, like, a unique dress sphere that only worked for them, and yeah, so I think, okay, in the case of Payne, this one definitely suits her perfectly. I can't remember the name of it, I'm sorry, I can't remember hers, but it suits her because it is dark and menacing, and it's like, she's not necessarily a menacing person, but like, I feel like their final dress sphere kind of lets out their personality, like, in an aesthetic way, if that makes sense. But this one definitely, like, gets across that Payne is not someone to mess with. Then we have Machinima, and, like, I remember that one. And Machinima is Rikku's, and I would say that this one suits her really well as well. It suits her, looks good. She's just piloting, like, a giant Machina lizard thing, and it's got a whole bunch of missiles and rocket launchers and weapons and stuff on it, and it's like, that's an Albed. That is Rikku in her element, for sure. Lastly on this list, we have Yuna's final dress sphere, and that is Floral Falal. So I remember that one, and unlike the other two, I'm going to say that this one looks good, it's really cool, but it doesn't suit. There's just something about this one that looks a little too busy. Like, I think they thought about it too much. I don't like the wings. It feels very much like they had, like, a bunch of ideas and they didn't know which ones to pick, so they just threw them in a bucket, mixed it up, and this is what we got. It's okay, I'll say that, but otherwise it's not my favorite by any stretch. If you told me that this is what, like, Yuna's final Aeon, like, if Yuna became a final Aeon, and this is what she looked like, I'd believe that. But otherwise, there's not a lot about Floral Falal that really takes me in. So there you go. In any case, everybody, this has been my determinations for how well all of the dress spheres suit the three main characters from Final Fantasy X-2. Comment down below which ones you agree with, which dress spheres were your favorites, which ones looked great, which ones not so much. I want to know what you think. If you enjoyed the video today, then make sure to give it a like and subscribe, and make sure to hit the bell icon as well so you can get instant updates anytime there's a new upload, and then you don't have to miss out ever again. My name is Raggy Rog. Thank you so much for watching my video today, Ragamuffins. I will see you next time. Have a good one.